If you were born in the States, chances are you have already been in school to get yourself a free general education till you reach the 12th grade and hopefully for you graduated, or will be one soon. Obviously, all, if not mostly everyone in the States and those around the world have gone to school before. Now, regardless which school you went to, you know that there will always be this one thing that all students had to fear and take care of, typically starting in middle school, but more importantly in high school: the grading system. The grading system is a tool used ubiquitously for teachers and the school to determine not only whether a student has passed or failed, but also how exactly well or bad the student had performed within a specific subject. Due to the popularity of the grading system, there exists this common prejudice among the media and parents that the grading system is a great tool to measure the student's level of intelligence of a given specified subject. Due to this personal consensus, there exists a level of student discrimination. Students with straight A's, for example, are considered to be bright, competitive prodigies, while those with below average grading levels or lower are considered to be quite the opposite. Now, putting that aside, there is also this consensus practice among academia where certain colleges and universities use the records of the applicant's past grades or transcript and decide whether or not he/she is competitive enough to be accepted, excluding additional criteria like SAT scores. Interestingly though, at least to the best of my knowledge, usually none of these preconceived applications actually have been bothered to be questioned at all. Does the grading system honestly measure a student's level of knowledge and performance of a given subject? As a successful high school and medical college graduate, I can honestly say no. By the end of this video, you will be surprised to find just how corrupted the American educational grading system really is and how it pertains to nothing but a mere joke. One of the problems with the educational system is the biased distribution of how grades are actually being implemented for each student. To rephrase that, there exists this unequal unfairness on how the students are actually being graded. When I was in high school back a few years ago, I realized that the chances of getting yourself a good grade really depends on which type of teacher are you actually taking, not just how much effort you actually put into your work. To illustrate this, let's suppose a scenario where two groups of students are being sent to a computer class independently and separate from each other. Now let's divide them into group A and B. Now let's suppose that the teacher in group A is very strict and is serious about teaching, while the teacher in group B is pretty chill and will give students the answers for the test at the end. Now here's the question: which group will be an easier grade? The one in group A or B? Obviously it will be the one in group B if one uses common sense. The teacher in group B, rather than actually being serious in educating students, is actually giving them free time with little to no classwork or homework. So the students in the group B class have a much higher advantage of achieving a much better grade than the one in group A, even though A puts in more effort than B. This type of grading is something that can be clearly described as biased or unfair, since the students in both groups are being treated unfairly. Worse yet, making the students' relatives or even a college institution to deceptively think that one of their students in group B has achieved excellence when such is not really deserving. This issue is a common problem that exists among the American educational system, and you'll be surprised to find out just how much of this bullshit actually exists, giving students the advantage of getting an easier grade than the others within the same subject. Here is one of the reasons why looking at the transcripts and discriminating students as competitive due to inadequate is nothing more but a joke. Now, the second reason why the American educational system is corrupted is irrelevancy. Believe it or not, but there are actually grading systems that grade students based on, guess what? Absolutely nothing. Rather than actually grading them based on the relevancy of the main subject being taught, teachers rather grade their students based on the irrelevancy that make absolutely no sense and serve no real purpose to the main subject. What exactly is this irrelevant nonsense? Well, for starters, how about we start off with the binders? Some teachers use the criteria of basing binders as being worth 5 to 20% of the overall grade. Binders, really? What is this, the binder class? But let's be real here. Do students go to school so a teacher can help them learn a specific subject, or do they go to school for, well, binders? Tell me, what point of significance does the usage of binders actually serve for the education and subject that the students are supposed to learn? Oh, that's right, absolutely nothing. But it actually gets much worse than that. There are also irrelevant nonsense that are being graded in the educational system, such as organization, how well the student is organized in maintaining their class notes, homework, and so on, in a well-ordered as well as that of behavior, attendance, communication, teamwork, and other retarded nonsense. In general, students should be graded based on everything that is actually relevant to the subject they are taking, not the nonsense of grading binders, attendance, and so on that actually have nothing to do with the main subject at all. Now, last but not least, one of the least but still a significant problem for the educational grading system is its failure to truly measure the level of knowledge and intelligence of a given specific subject. In all, if not in most cases, the grading system is based upon a predetermined criteria, which will eventually be taught as lessons by the instructor. Given this fact, there exists this measurement constraint between how much a student actually knows and the specific aspects on what the student is being graded on. Given that the subject grading system is based on a predetermined criteria, the only knowledge that you need to pass is to understand those predetermined concepts. However, these predetermined lessons do not measure the actual level of knowledge given its actual limitation, meaning that a student can perform great in one aspect of the subject but perform very poorly in another aspect within the same subject. One can be great in doing probability calculations but perform very poorly when it comes to algebra equations. Likewise, one can be very smart in cellular biology but perform very badly when it comes to wildlife biology questions like carnivores, the food chain, and so on. Due to these limitations, it is reasonable to suggest that the grading system does not really measure the true knowledge of a given specific subject, but rather the predetermined criteria of a given curriculum. However, this to me is not really an issue. What is the issue is the corruption of how grades are actually being distributed throughout the American educational system. It is unfair to have some students to take the advantage of achieving a better, easier grade than those that really need to put effort in it. So until the Board of Education actually faces these issues and try to even out the grades equally, the grading system is really nothing more but a mere joke believed by the gullible, and even more of a joke when colleges and universities try to use them as some measurement of determining how well or bad the student that is trying to apply is. Grades, in other words, really don't mean shit at the moment. Thanks for watching.